In fact, Mr. Sudhakar, thank you very much for being with us on the broadcast, and now I'll request you to be with us for, in fact, ahead as well. What we are learning in the view of these developments that have happened at this point of time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is likely to visit the site of the Ahmedabad plane crash at around 8:30 a.m. today. This comes after Union Home Minister Amit Shah and Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu have reached the site yesterday to take the stock of the situation. Anand Singh continues to be with us live on the broadcast. In fact, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is about to reach the crash site to take a stock a day after, Anand, what are you picking up from the very site of, in fact, this tragic crash that has witnessed in a blink the loss of 241 lives?
The crash site actually, where the Air India plane hit this same hostel last afternoon, and in which 241 passengers, including around 50 interns, doctors, they were also killed in this tragic accident. So clearly now the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to arrive in Ahmedabad, and he is likely to visit this crash site to take a stock of the situation. So clearly the police and the security have made adequate arrangements for his visit, and you can see the barricades have been put, they have been put, and the media has been put on this side of the barricade, whereas the other side from which the Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself will be coming. So that side the adequate police personnel have been deployed. You can see the paramilitary forces also over there in the same, and several members of the Air India team are also available at that place as they are going to brief Prime Minister Narendra Modi once he arrives that how this situation was handled over here. And even the NDRF team is at this site, which was carrying out the rescue operations since yesterday afternoon till late in the night, looking for the bodies and for any signs of any survivors from this damaged building where the Air India AI-171 Boeing Dreamliner plane had crashed on Thursday afternoon. So clearly it was a very tremendous task for them, but they managed to bring out several of the dead bodies since yesterday afternoon when the rescue operations began. And the entire building, as soon as the Air India flight crashed over here, so the entire building was engulfed in fire, and the remains of the same can be seen now also, as the entire building has turned black, and the flames, the damage that has been done to this building is clearly visible on its walls, that how such a major air disaster took place over here. So clearly the Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting, and yesterday also Union Home Minister Amit Shah and Union Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu had also visited and took stock of the situation. They also visited the hospital to meet several of the people over there. They also went to and discussed with the doctors that what all kind of arrangements they have done in view of such a tragic disaster that occurred in Ahmedabad. Back to you, Sabha.
Well, all right, Anand. In fact, at this point of time, more details are also emerging, as also families are right now dealing with the grief and grappling with the loss of their family members and these victims that have, in fact, been on board of the ill-fated crash aircraft. Now, rescue operations have reportedly been completed at the Ahmedabad plane crash site. This comes after Air India has issued an official statement confirming that 241 of the 242 people aboard lost their lives in the tragic incident. Rescue operations, in fact, continue to take place. Well, on that note, let me also speak to my colleague Anand, who is also giving us live updates from the ground. Anand, if we talk about the rescue operations, what all forces and what all security agencies are roped in? Yesterday, 4 teams of NDRF flew immediately. Then there was the Gujarat police and the Ahmedabad police also roping in action quickly, issuing helpline numbers, also giving any immediate relief and assistance help to the victims and the affected people. But when we talk about the rescue operations and the pace of the rescue operations right now, what is being tracked and how is this being monitored?
Yes, Simran, look, even since the air crash took place over here on Thursday afternoon, the NDRF, the Gujarat Police, Ahmedabad Police, and all other security agencies were pushed in to look after the survivors, and they instantly began the rescue operations over here. However, the chances were very bleak, as this was a very major air disaster, as within 59 seconds this Boeing Dreamliner aircraft crashed on the same building over here. So clearly, looking at the situation, the NDRF team deployed over here, they managed to pull out around 81 bodies since yesterday afternoon, and many of the uh, relatives of those who have died in this tragic air crash, they are still mourning, and they are trying to identify the bodies. As the visuals which came yesterday, we could have imagined that how much disastrous this air crash was, as several of the bodies were beyond recognition, as they were burnt completely, because the aircraft was completely fueled for its flight towards London, and the aircraft was having full capacity of its fuel. So just after the crash, the intensity of the fire can be imagined, as the fuels in both the tankers of the aircraft, they also helped in burning. So clearly damage was much more, but the security officials, they started looking for the survivors, but there was very bleak chances that there will be any survivors from this site, as around 50 intern doctors have also died. And what we have learned from our sources in Gujarat administration is that more than 300 people have died since yesterday in this air crash. Back to you, Simran.
Right, in fact, now I'll request you, Anand, to kindly be with us on the broadcast, as we are also getting more updates where the Air India MD and CEO Campbell Wilson has arrived at the AI 171 plane crash site in Ahmedabad. 241 passengers have lost their lives in the plane crash yesterday, and Air India has also issued the official statement confirming the death toll. They have also given out the details of exactly when the flight took place, and in no time it in fact did crash into that BJ Medical College. These are enough also to understand that further inquiry and investigation has also been launched into this very tragic incident. But at the very same time, Air India and the Tata Group at large has expressed the solidarity and also expressed their condolences to the bereaved families who have lost their entire family members, and few of the members as well. There were so many plans left to be completed, and this is what has taken place, shaking the entire nation. All right. In fact, now joining me live on the broadcast is UK Group Captain Devnath. Sir, Campbell Wilson is also going to be there at that site. Air India has issued a statement as well, confirming the death toll and also acknowledging that there has been the crash which took place within no time as the flight took place from the runway. Mr. Devnath, how do you think for Air India, for the aviation, the airline, at this point of time, the responsibility lies and the accountability? What are the key questions that at this point of time Air India must come and answer to all of these affected families, to all of these people mourning and grieving the loss?
Oh, yes, definitely. There are many stakeholders involved. The aircraft belong to Air India, so they will have to come forward and uh, they have to help out the family members in overcoming this grief. They have already announced a small compensation of rupees 1 crore to each family. Uh, but it goes without saying that rupees 1 crore compensation is too meager a sum nowadays, especially for international passengers. There were large number of foreign passengers from Europe as well on board. And by international standards, 1 crore compensation rupees, 1 crore compensation is a very meager compensation. So, international norms for paying compensation by the airline in case of such fatal accidents is a little more than this. Second thing is airports all around India are being maintained under Ministry of Civil Aviation. DGCA is Director General Civil Aviation is in charge of ensuring that the aviation environment, flying environment in India is safe. So all the agencies have to come together to investigate what went wrong. NTSB, National Transport Safety Board of USA, they have already indicated that they are sending a team to investigate the case. This NTSB team definitely will compromise the members from the manufacturer of the engine, that is GE, General Electric, manufacturer of the aircraft, that is Boeing. In India, all the airports, their flying environment sometimes leaves much to be desired. Definitely, Civil Aviation Ministry has to look at it. Airport Authority of India maintains these airfields, airports all around India, and probably with help of local civil administration, they have to ensure that bird activity is reduced. Still, it is not
Mr.
confirmed that
Devnath, I'll
this.
request you to kindly hold on and stay with us on the telecast, as we are also getting live inputs and live, in fact, visuals as well, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached Ahmedabad. Union Minister for Civil Aviation Ram Mohan Naidu, Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel and Union Minister C.R. Patil have reached the Ahmedabad airport to receive Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is expected to reach the incident site in a short while. He will also hold a review meeting in Ahmedabad. The Prime Minister can also go to the hospital and meet the family members of the victims. All right, Mr. Devnath, I'll come back to you in just a bit. But before that, this is a breaking input, and we are also showing the live visuals with the latest updates that my colleague Anand Singh is tracking from the ground. Anand, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached the Ahmedabad airport, and from here he is expected to just reach the site of the crash, from where you are also giving us details in just a bit. Take us through the details.
Yes, Simran, look, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in Ahmedabad, and several of the top ministers from his government, they are at Ahmedabad airport to receive the Prime Minister, Union Civil Aviation Minister, then also the Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel. They are all available at Ahmedabad airport, and they will be briefing the Prime Minister. They will be giving him some short briefing over there, that how this situation arose here in Ahmedabad and what kind of steps the government has taken in view of such a tragic air disaster. So clearly, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to visit this accident site, the crash site specifically, where the AI-171 flight crashed on Thursday afternoon, leaving 241 passengers dead and more than 50 intern doctors dead over here at this government hostel. So clearly the Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving here with several of his ministers, and he will be taking a stock, and he will be looking at that how the disaster unfolded over here on Thursday afternoon. And after that, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also hold several meetings with the government officials and ministers over here, and he will also be briefed that what kind of steps that NDRF and how the rescue operation was carried. So everything will be briefed to Prime Minister, and it is also expected that Prime Minister Narendra Modi can also meet one of the sole survivor of this AI-171 flight that was destined for London. So clearly he will go to civil hospital over here, and he will meet the lone survivor from this ill-fated AI-171 Boeing Dreamliner flight. So clearly Prime Minister Narendra Modi is now expected to arrive anytime in next few minutes. So he will be taking a stock of the situation over here at this hostel of the government hospital over here. Back to you, Simran.
Well, all right. In fact, Anand, I'll request you to be with us on the broadcast, as what we are also picking up in the latest is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as he reaches the crash site, is also going to interact with the family members in just a bit. And at this point of time, I also have my guest being with me on the broadcast. UK Devnath is also there, and also Wing Commander S. Sudhakaran is also there. Mr. Sudhakaran, as we are also looking at these live visuals, these live visuals speak of the tragedy that is unthinkable of, and that has shaken the conscience of the entire nation. And right now, as even hours are unfolding, the aviation industry, in fact, the crew members, the staff, the airlines are all grappling with the loss. But at the core of it, when such a mass scale loss has been witnessed and has also been suffered, how do you think the right way to go forward without making speculations, and also understanding in complete context the next right step should be in understanding what has led to this?
See, obviously the flight data recorders will be, it has been already retrieved. So they will be examined. It is going to take some time. It is not going to be very easy because it has to be examined in detail. Then it will be subjected to a simulation tests based on the data points that are retrieved from the FDRs. That will give us some kind of an idea as to what exactly happened in the last 20 seconds of the accident. From there, they will do a second level correlation with the various equipments, the kind of malfunctioning that probably it has encountered. And then it will be cross-checked if there were any violation of processes. If that be so, then blames will be apportioned, even if it is a maintenance flaw. If somebody has cut any short corners, it will also be checked if the original equipment manufacturer has supplied components which has failed before time, because the MTBFs of some of these things will be given out by the flight recorders if there has been failure of the systems. What appears is that, see, an aircraft like this cannot fail in under 10-15 seconds. That is unheard of and unprecedented. Aircrafts are built with so much of redundancy. Like even if one system fails, there are standby systems in place. There are health check indicators. And in any case, before the flight is taken off, the pilot performs a comprehensive pre-flight check. It is so exhaustive, it lasts for as much as half an hour. And then there are visual inspections that are carried out before 250 passengers are sent to the skies. So it is highly unthinkable that this kind of a thing has happened, and that too within 20 seconds. It is very, very rare that these incidents happen. So as I told you, that it is multiple layers that aggregate over a period of time that leads to an accident like this. It is not simply like, even if we talk about bird heads, there are responsibilities of people who monitor all these things. The runway is sanitized. These days, even it is checked that if there are antisocial elements who could be at the near vicinity, all these things are verified before one aircraft takes over to the sky. So it is an unimaginable level of effort that takes to keep the aviation sector safe. But despite all these things, there has been a shortcoming which has led to an accident like this. It needs to be thoroughly probed, and it is accidents that has given lessons to the aviation industry over a period of time. If me and you today are enjoying safer flights, it is because of the lessons that we have learned from the hundreds of accidents that has happened over a period of time. So, and mind you, aviation industry is one of the highest paid industries as compared to any other industry. So therefore, people with far higher level of competence, responsibility, they are put in place. But these things do happen, that we cannot, there is nothing that is called as 100%. Accidents do happen, and over a period of time, fatigue, boredom, laid back attitude, complacency, greed, shortcuts, that's why even when we are trained in the academy in the Indian Air Force, if we have to take a route and as a cadet, if you take a shortcut, you are cut and you are penalized for it for the whole day, because that very thought is not supposed to be there in the mind of somebody who is associated with the aviation industry. Today, if we have to take a shortcut, we think twice. Do we need to do this? So, that is a kind of training and grooming and the skill that is ingrained into anyone who deals with the aviation sector. So it is hard for me to understand why this happens, why this has happened. But then as an engineer who was trained in aeronautical branch, we can understand what components goes in. And then when we build systems that are fail-safe, it is very, very important for me, not only from the perspective of analyzing this accident, from future designs, when we encounter future design where human lives are involved, we have to learn lessons from these accidents. And we have to understand when we bring in a technology like the battery technologies, it sounds so cool. But then the kind of accidents that it can cause, like, for example, I would draw your attention to the ship that is burning in the Arabian Sea. It is again attributed to malfunction or the explosion of an electrical battery, which has led to that devastating fire wherein a ship is today stranded in the Arabian Sea, and we are fighting that fire. So that would be of very important interest for me, because these batteries now percolate everywhere, from your mobile phones to your car batteries, right up to the aviation industry. So is there something that we need to do about it? Are there checks that are, that we are doing good enough to ensure the safety of the personnel? So these are questions that this particular analysis of the accident will give for me as an engineer. And I would like to wait for the report to come, and I will be very, very interested in seeing what is the exact conclusion that is arrived at, that has caused an accident and taken 275 lives, in no time from us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sudhakar, for being with us on the broadcast. And in fact, what we are also learning at this point of time are the live visuals. Remember, viewers, the helpline numbers for the further assistance have also been issued. The crash with 242 passengers on board on the Air India aircraft has left the nation mourning with a heavy grief. While Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached the Ahmedabad airport, there are many questions which will be answered and which we will see, in fact, also giving out the answers to the affected families. But at the same time, right now, there is rescue work that's happening at the ground of the crash site, where there is enough heavy damage that has also been inflicted on the medical college building, situated just meters away from the airport. Well, that was the timing that also resulted in the loss of life of these innocent medical students situated in their mess during the time of the crash. All right, Anand Singh is joining me live on the broadcast to share the latest. Anand, what we are learning so far is Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to hold the review meeting in Ahmedabad, and to begin with that, in fact, what is going to be the first step as he reaches the crash site? Take us through the minute-to-minute details that you have and track us through the latest updates that you are bringing.
Yeah, Simran, look, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has now arrived at the crash site. I will ask my Vijay to show the visuals that how the cavalcade of Prime Minister has now reached at the accident site where AI-171 Ahmedabad London bound flight crashed on Thursday afternoon. So clearly, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on the crash site, and he will be taking a complete view of that how this disaster unfolded on Thursday afternoon, which left more than 300 people dead, including 241 people on board the AI 171 ill-fated Boeing Dreamliner. So clearly Prime Minister Narendra Modi, after visiting the crash site, he will also go and hold meeting in Ahmedabad with several of the senior ministers. That also includes the Union Minister for Civil Aviation Ram Mohan Naidu, and then Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel is also available over here. He also received Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Airport, and now they all will be part of the meeting that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding here after visiting this crash site. And it is also being learned from our sources that Prime Minister Narendra Modi can also go to civil hospital over here, where one of the lone survivors of this ill-fated Air India flight has been admitted for further treatment. So clearly Prime Minister Narendra Modi wants to meet that survivor, and he will try to understand that how this crash happened and what were the last moment, as this flight was only airborne for around 59 seconds, less than a minute. So clearly Prime Minister Narendra Modi will take stock of all the situation, and he will also discuss that what all steps the government needs to take to strengthen the air safety, given the fact that the air traffic and air transport has increased in last 2 decades. So clearly it will be a very crucial meeting that will be chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where several senior officials from NDRF as well as Ahmedabad police and several other agencies will be present, who will brief the Prime Minister that what all the steps they have taken since yesterday, as the rescue operation was also going on since afternoon, and that went on till late in the night, and by late night the rescue operations, during the rescue operation the NDRF was able to pull out 81 dead bodies from this crash site, but even more people, more bodies are yet to be brought out, and their identification is to be done. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has expressed his deep condolences on the death of several passengers and the intern doctors over here, so he will clearly give a proper message that what kind of steps that his government should take. Back to you, Simran.
Well, all right. In fact, Anand, I'll request you to continue to be with us as we are also learning more updates as Prime Minister Narendra Modi reaches Ahmedabad. Review meeting is going to be on the priority, and apart from that, he's also going to speak to the families of the victims who have suffered this loss. Apart from that, what we are also picking up that the NDRF teams are also working day and night at the crash site to retrieve all the dead bodies as well. And we are also in fact learning that the wife of the late former Chief Minister of Gujarat, Vijay Rupani, is also there in Ahmedabad. If you can show us through the visuals, Anand, about the security arrangements that have been made at this point of time, as there are families at the boundary which are right now struggling to get in touch with the in fact authorities to take a stock of their family members that suffered the ill-fated crash.
Yeah, Simran, look, even since this disaster took place, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is here, and he is all set to take the review meeting over here. So clearly, several of the relatives of those people who have died, they are also coming to the civil hospital over here, where the dead bodies are being kept and preserved, as the DNA matching needs to be done before handing the bodies to their families. So clearly, it's a very tedious task for those who have lost their nearest and dearest one, and it's very tough for them to hold their emotions while waiting for to get a glimpse of their loved ones which are beyond recognition, as several of the bodies are beyond recognition in the deadly fire that engulfed the entire plane soon after the crash. So clearly those families are also coming to civil hospital. They are trying to inquire that how and when they are going to get the dead bodies of their family members. So clearly it's a very tough situation for them, and it won't be easy to explain in words as what has happened over here. It's a very big air disaster that took place in Ahmedabad. Back to you, Sam.
All right, Anand.